My name is Emma, and I am very normal about Daredevil. Last year, in preparation for the new Disney Plus series Daredevil Born Again, I read a lot of Daredevil comics. Like, a lot of Daredevil in a very short period of time leading up to when that show dropped. And while I don't necessarily recommend that, but you can do it, of course. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do whatever you want, boo. I thought I'd share just a few of my favorite comics that maybe you could read before the new season of Daredevil Born Again, the second season, drops this March. One of the things I love the most about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that you can interact with it completely without the comics if you want to, which is what I did for the majority of my life. I started watching Marvel movies in middle school, and all the way up until last year, I barely touched the comics at all. I just watched the movies, I just watched the shows, and it was a perfectly, I don't want to say complete because it's not complete, but it was a full way to consume all of these characters without feeling like you're missing out on a ton. And that carries over to the Daredevil shows too. You can consume this show completely without reading any comics if you want to, though if you do that, there is a very specific way to watch the show that isn't really clear if you're just looking at it on the Disney Plus page. So this is how you should do it. First, you're gonna watch seasons 1 and 2 of the Netflix show, which is now on Disney Plus. The show came out in 2016 and there are 3 seasons of it, but you're just gonna watch the first 2. Once done with that, you're gonna switch over to The Defenders, which is a mashup show with other street-level heroes like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. Once you finish that show, it's only 1 season long, and I do highly recommend watching it, not only because it makes the 3rd season make more sense, but also because it's great. Once you're done with that season, now you will watch season 3 of the original Daredevil show. Once you're done there, you are ready to start the new show. There's currently 1 season of Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. As of the time that I'm recording this, which is the February before the 2nd season drops, you can go ahead and watch that and then you're ready, you're good to go. There are a couple other like adjacent Daredevil pieces of media you can consume. He makes an appearance in She-Hulk that doesn't really have anything to do with the main plot of the main 2 shows, but it's silly, goofy, and it's fun, so. And She-Hulk is just a great show anyway, so check that out. He also makes an appearance in Spider-Man. Actually, I have his accent figure from that movie right there. What is it? From No Way Home. He makes a small appearance in No Way Home. So if you want to just watch the shows, that's how you do it. Seasons 1, 2, Defenders, 3, Born Again 1, and then you're ready for Born Again 2. If you do want to read some comics, this is what I recommend. If you only read 1 book before you start watching Daredevil Born Again, I would recommend Daredevil, The Man Without Fear by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. This is my favorite version of the Daredevil origin story. Each of the comics has like a little blurb at the beginning about how he got his powers, but this is like the most complete version that I've seen. It's my favorite. You get to meet some characters that show up in later seasons of Daredevil, and it kind of fleshes it out a little bit more. So if you read 1 book, read this one. If you hang around the comic sections at local comic book stores or at like Barnes & Noble, you will probably have seen these Marvel Premiere Collection books. I just picked up these 2 for Valentine's Day for myself. And there is one that is titled Born Again. So you would think to read this before Born Again. I would actually recommend reading this before Daredevil season 3. I think this storyline has more in common with the storyline of that season than at least the 1st season of Born Again. So that's where I would stick this. It's some older comics. I think these are from the 80s. It's a good collection of stories. It's a little bit of a bummer compared to some other ones because you're just kind of watching Matt Murdock go crazy, but it's still an entertaining read and I would definitely recommend it. If you have already seen the 1st season of Born Again and you would like a little hope put back in your life, I would recommend the Brubaker arc of Daredevil, which goes into one of the, it's not a spoiler because it happens like the very first 10 minutes of the show, but I'm still not gonna say it. I'm just gonna say, if you watched the 1st season of Born Again and were traumatized and need some relief from that, these will make you feel a little better, though I don't think that the show is going to follow this route. It's nice to think that in one universe, our boys are alive and happy together. And then while this isn't required reading, this is my current favorite run of Daredevil. I only have the sleeve here right now because the book is in my room where I've been reading it, but this is from the Mark Waid run. I like this one because it feels like the art style and the writing feels lighter. It's a little more fantasy as opposed to like the very dark, gritty Daredevil we've seen in the past, but it still has some of the same crime darkness, the crime grittiness, but it's also kind of somewhat fantastical and a little more silly goofy, which who doesn't love a little silly goofy? I am beyond excited to see the next season of Daredevil Born Again, and I might read all of these again in preparation for that. Who knows? I have a big stack of other comics sitting on my nightstand that I need to get through, so we'll see what I can fit in there. If you have other suggestions on what should be on the Essential Daredevil reading list before Born Again Season 2 drops, let me know in the comments. And if I missed anything important, also let me know, because I would like to read that. Like I said, I'm very, very normal about Daredevil.